Hello, I'm Katherine Pearson, and this is my culturally responsive library project. I currently work at Chandler School. It is a K to 8 independent school in Pasadena, California, and I have been working with our kindergarten students in our after school program. The first category we will look at is gender. So this is the graph of the main and supporting characters in the 50 books I looked through in regards to gender. So the primary gender was pretty split actually between male and female, and the main characters section had 17 male characters, 19 female characters, and for supporting characters it was 25 male characters and 30 female characters. So that was that was good to see. It was relatively even. Very, very few gender non-binary or gender non-specific, which I was not all that surprised by, but that definitely needs to be improved. And for non-human characters, there was 12 for main characters and 11 for supporting. So I was happy to see that that number was lower than the category for male and female characters. My class demographics, this was not typical for a classroom, but we had 13 female and 7 male, which is not usually the case. So there's a good window and mirror books for female and male students, but a definite need for more literature with non-binary and non-gender specific characters. This is just some of the books to show just a range of gender. The next category we will look at is race. And here's the graph showing the different main characters, supporting characters in regards to their race. The majority of the books that I looked through had characters who were Black and African American in both the main characters and supporting characters, followed by characters who are white in both the main and supporting characters. Non-human characters follows that, and then there's not too many books on Native or Indigenous, actually no books on Native or Indigenous, very few Middle Eastern, Arab or Arab American, and there were 6 books about Asian or Asian American characters. So that could definitely be improved, but not too bad. In regards to my class demographics, I have 4 students who are Black or African American, 7 students who are Asian or Asian American, 2 students who are Latinx, and 7 students who are white. Here's just a collection of some of our books that kind of show our just some diversity in regards to race. I felt like our library does have a decent selection. There definitely are some categories that need to be improved, but there is a good mirror book selection for students who are Black and African American, Asian and Asian American, and characters who are white. There's very poor window book selection for characters who are students who are Indigenous and Native American, Latinx, and also those who speak second language other than English. Next, we will look at sexual orientation. So here are just some of the books that we have that kind of touch on this topic of sexual orientation. It's definitely not sufficient. Only about 4 books of the 50. 100% of the students and their families are non-LGBTQ plus. In my class, these family books are great. They're not specifically talking about sexual orientation, but they do just touch on how, families come in all different shapes and sizes, and sometimes you have 2 moms or 2 dads, and it's a great kind of intro book. Anything by Todd Parr is really amazing. There definitely is a need for more LGBTQ inclusive literature. It really does help to normalize different identities and can reduce harmful stereotypes and create safe and inclusive environments. In my experience, many educators shy away from discussing non-heterosexual identities for fear of pushback from parents or feelings of discomfort themselves, or at my school, it's a lack of support from administration. But support for different family structures just tells all children to be proud of themselves and their families. I'm going to talk about language next. In regards to my class, I have, of my 20 students, 13 of them speak only English at home. 7 of them speak a second language. None of those languages are Spanish. All of those languages are, some of them speak Korean, Mandarin. We do not have any Spanish speaking students in our class. These are some of the books on our bookshelf that have a second language um, spoken about with some of the characters. And there were 2 other ones besides these 4, but only about 6 of the books had that. It's really beneficial for classroom libraries to show language diversity, as it enhances cultural awareness, promotes respect, and normalizes speaking more than one language. For multilingual children, this representation can strengthen their linguistic skills, validate their experiences, and enhance self-confidence and pride in their background. And for monolingual children, exposure to literature in different languages can encourage cultural awareness and inclusivity, can dispel stereotypes and misconceptions, and really prepare them for living in a multicultural world. Family structure. So 100% of the students in my class have traditional family structures. In this particular class, there are no single parents, there are no divorced families. They're all traditional family structures, and only about 5 of our books in our library discussed different family structures. And here are some of the recommendations that I would have. And it's important for kids to know that family structure comes in various forms, and that children deserve to see a reflection of their family in classroom literature. And while this is the books that we have are a good mirror into the lives of my students, there's really a bigger need for more window books in this category. Single parent families, same-sex families, adopted families, multi-generational families, blended families, they're all deserving of being represented in stories. I'm sorry. And the kids need to see that. All right, disability. So disability representation is really lacking just overall in children's literature. There's a statistic I read that only about 3.4% of literature has a disabled main character, and that's compared to 26% of Americans that are living with a disability. So overall, there's a big push for more of these books. Literature featuring characters with disabilities promotes inclusion, fosters empathy and understanding, and can break down harmful stereotypes. Disability representation is beneficial for everyone, and it teaches young children about the range of human difference and encourages them to speak up for the rights of others. These are just some of the books that we have in our library. I did add 2 books on neurodiversity. Neurodiversity is not a disability, but we have had some neurodivergent students in our classroom in the past, and these are just two books that I love. All are welcome. I think every classroom needs that book. It is beautifully written, and the illustrations are incredible and tells a very, very important message. And these are some recommendations I would have for our classroom. And last, we have economic diversity. So only 3 books that we have really address economic struggle in our classroom. And it's very important that this category of books be improved in my classroom, especially because I work with very high income families, and a lot of them have mirror books about economic diversity, but there are really, really no window books. So it's really important to fix this category. Stories that represent a range of socioeconomic statuses can help children build compassion, understand the challenges families can face, and gain an appreciation for what they have. Children's books that display economic diversity can provide a mirror into the experiences of many children, making them feel seen and understood. And they can also offer a window for others to look through, broadening their perspectives. So overall, I am impressed with the number of female and male characters compared to non-human characters. Before I started this assignment, I anticipated most of the books having talking animals or imaginary and fictional main characters, but it was nice to see a relatively even amount of female and male characters representing the demographic of students in my class well. I was also happy with the number of books with Black or African American categories. This category was significantly the highest, and it provides the 4 Black students in my class with a large variety of mirror books and a good window for students who are Asian or Asian American, Latinx, and white. I did talk to our classroom teacher after and gave her the results. We did share concern about there not being sufficient representation of non-binary, non-gender specific characters, characters with disabilities, characters who are LGBTQ plus, Latinx characters, language diversity, and economic diversity. Window books are lacking in this classroom library and are equally essential to mirror books. The students would benefit significantly from literature that exposes them to the lives and different experiences from their own, which can help, broaden their perspective on the world and prepare them for living in a multicultural, diverse world.